Are you ready to learn the 9 laws of spiritual warfare? I remember hearing the 9 laws of war from a sergeant in the Marines. He had mentioned it, and that really got me curious. So I began to go online to search about these laws that have been known for thousands of years. And so when I found out what these 9 laws are, I immediately wanted to apply that into the spiritual world, because the Bible tells us that we're in a warfare. We're in a fight. But the trouble is, many Christians are not prepared to fight the good fight of faith. So what are the 9 laws of warfare? Well, we're going to cover number 4, 5, and 6, the Lord willing. And so number 4 is concentration of effort. That is, find where the enemy is weak and hit them at their weak point. That's how wars have turned around. The Battle of Midway, we hit the Japanese at their weakest point and we won the war. The Battle of the Bulge, same thing. In other words, wars turned around when an army discovered the weakness of the opponent. That's when it hit me. What is Satan's weakness? You know what it is? It's the works of the flesh that produce bad results. Now, you say, what do you mean by that? In other words, we as the church need to concentrate on the area of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, and kindness. And when we can manifest that love, we turn everything around, because the devil, all he has is a bunch of hatred. You see, he doesn't have love. The works of the flesh, Paul says, are obvious. And what do the works of the flesh do? They produce terrible results. The world, they don't have the right view on marriage. Therefore, divorce is running rapid in the world. And what does that produce? Terrible consequences. Sexual activity, the world says, do whatever feels right. But what has it produced? Unwanted pregnancy, diseases, unhappiness. See, the world talks about drugs, alcohol. Just do all that you want. But what does it produce? It produces premature death. It destroys families. It ruins people's finances. In other words, the weakness of the devil is actually in his sins. So as the church, we need to concentrate on the effort of fruit of the Spirit. That's what attracts people to Christianity, is when they see the Christian church loving people and trying to do good for them. And you know what they do? They recognize those are good people. Those are people that are changing, that's making lives better. And see, and I realize the church is missing it, because we don't realize holiness is good. See, don't let the devil turn holiness into something rotten. No, it is a beautiful thing. And so I began to realize that we got to focus on the weakness of the devil, which is the flesh. And so the moment I preach about the consequences of sin, people nod, they say, I get it, because it's terrible. Yet the world keeps doing it and not even recognizing sometimes the bad fruit that they're producing. So I began to discover the concentration of effort in the fruit of the Spirit. Didn't Jesus say, love one another, and by this you shall show all men that you are my disciples? In other words, Jesus is saying, show love, because the world doesn't understand love. They understand selfishness, they understand greed, they understand self-centeredness, but they don't understand giving love. And Jesus said, when you show giving love, you will open the eyes of the sinners and let them see something that is beautiful. So the 4th law of spiritual warfare is, let's concentrate on the fruit of the Spirit and expose the deeds of darkness.